and welcome to the Clarion News studio here from Kuala Lumpur. Today I'm joined with Thorsten Volz. Thorsten, thank you so much for joining us today.
A pleasure. Thank you for having me here.
Thorsten, there's a global shift toward cleaner modular power supply systems. How do you see the regulatory framework adapting to accommodate this energy transition?
Difficult. I mean, we see a clear trend in the market to the 3Ds, digitalization, decentralization and decarbonization. And especially in Europe, we see initiatives from the regulatory side to answer to that shift. But my impression is the regulatory is always one step behind the market development. To give you a few examples, we had a tremendous incentive program in Europe for renewables. Now we are facing the problem that this incentive regime doesn't work properly anymore, and we have to focus on the market integration really of renewables. But we are a bit behind the curve with that development. Then we see a stuck in the smart meter rollout due to huge data protection efforts we have, because of course the governments are keen to protect the personal data of everyone, which is really important. But having such huge technical requirements for smart meters, at least in continental Europe, it's difficult to have a rollout because you have no certified meters in a huge range, yet affordable for people to install, and that slows down the transition to a more digital market. Then we see new ideas of peer-to-peer trading. For example, we in Germany advised on the first European blockchain-based peer-to-peer platform, which was run by a German Stadtwerk and is now rolled out European-wide. There is no regulatory framework for such initiatives yet. So you have to start really thinking from scratch and develop things, and then the regulator tries to answer to these developments. Or when it comes to grid stability and all these things, we're always behind the market development with regulatory things, and that's really a problem. But I don't think you really can solve this, because the digitalization is such a fast driver of developments that I think the legislator is always a step behind. And for me, really, the answer is, more than regulating everything, we should set a framework you can work in, so that we protect fundamental rights for the customers, that data is protected and all that, and security of supply and all these things have to be guaranteed. And then you should leave it to the market really developing what is the right strategy.
And do you see any shift in the utility strategy to respond to this energy transition?
Yes, we see a lot of utilities trying to shift their strategy and to go new ways. One example is this blockchain-based peer-to-peer trading platform. Usually a German Stadtwerk, which is a local utility, simply was in charge of supplying water, gas, electricity and doing some waste handling. What they did now is set up a platform where you and I can choose which electricity source we want to have, whether it's the rooftop PV installation of the farmer next door or the wind farm 200 kilometers away. You can choose and pick your source of supply, and that's really new and I think a fantastic movement in more flexibility for the end consumer. Then we see a clear move of consumers to become prosumers, be it having electric cars, a battery in your house, or rooftop installations. And utilities also start answering to that by offering services all around this. Further, we see that they learned that large-scale power production probably is not always the answer, and we have to have more decentralized solutions. And there we see a lot of new market incumbents as well, who used to be traditionally on the large-scale side, or where old-fashioned utilities who now see themselves more as a service provider, providing contracting solutions for energy-intensive industry, off-takers, or as Ian is now shifting clearly in Europe, say we are a partner for local communities to become carbon free. We have the knowledge, we can advise them what is the right movement, and it's a more overall strategy. It's not all about electricity, it's about transportation, it's about public transport and all that, and how to really shape a city in a modern way. So that's a really fantastic new movement we see there.
And on the topic of innovations, you are involved in the Initiate program. Can you tell us a bit more about what your role is and also how you feel about this program?
Yeah, of course. I had the pleasure to be here in Asia, chief judge of the Initiate program, and yesterday night I could hand over the awards to the winners of the Initiate program here in Asia. And for me, Initiate is really important, and it's great to have Initiate as a part of Utility Week for several reasons. First of all, I think it's great to give startups and young companies a chance to present their business cases, because it's for them difficult anyhow really to get into the market. Then it is also really important for the utilities and the traditional market players to see what's going on. They're all looking for new business models, new business ideas, and looking for partners to develop them. And there the startups play a really important role. They have the entrepreneurship, they have the new fresh ideas, they come straight from university. Some ideas are a bit crazy, others are really great. And I think that's exactly the environment you need to create innovation and really to foster this transition into a decentralized, decarbonized, new energy world. And therefore it's so important to have Initiate as a fundamental part of this show, because it's really the exchange of the old world and the new world, and to see what's coming out there. And for me it's always fantastic to see these new ideas, this enthusiasm of these young people really to start their business. That's gorgeous to see and really refreshing, I must say.
Thorsten, thank you so much for joining us today. And if you're interested in the Initiate program and this speaks to you and you are an innovator, then please follow the on-screen address and stay ahead of what's to come this year. Thanks for joining us.